Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Across the Stages podcast brought to you by AbsoluteMotorsport.com and the Alloy TV. I'm James Casey, and joining me today is Joshua Suttill. After a long summer break, the WRC returned in Finland for an interesting yet unspectacular rally in which TANAK took a dominant victory. And for once, we actually got our predictions pretty much spot on in what has been an unpredictable season. Toyota, as expected, did very well in this event with Jari-Matti Latvala also getting on the podium in third place. Espekilapi also had a strong event, but ended up crashing off on the final day from what would have been fourth position. So a very good event for Toyota, a good win for TANAK. And that will help them in both championships where they've still got a bit of an outside chance. What did you make of their performance?
Yeah, really, really good. Power stage win as well for Tanak, so maximum points for the weekend. Exactly what he needed to do. He's had a difficult couple of rallies. I don't think he's got a chance at the championship. It's really cost him these last few rallies. And that is a real shame because he was so dominant here. It definitely looked like a driver of a champion. And yeah, just really good job all around from Toyota. Maybe expecting a little more from Latvala. It's a shame he couldn't go for a victory push. He was pretty much on course for victory last year until reliability issues. So it's a shame for him. But still, third is pretty good in his first podium since the season opener. And yeah, Lappi as well showed good pace, but of course it was always going to be pretty difficult to repeat his 2017 performance.
Yeah, I don't think anyone would have expected that with TANAK also at the team to add to Latvala, who was very strong last year. But yeah, it was a very strong performance from the whole team, wasn't it? And TANAK especially, I think, has shown why he should be in the championship fight. But I agree with you that he's just a little bit too far back. As we'll get on to later, Thierry Neuville only scored 4 points in this event, so he did take 26 points out, and he's only 46 points off now. But I think with the consistency that Neuville has shown so far this season up until now, that's probably going to be too much for TANAK to make up. But you do never know in the world of rallying. But he was around about this kind of gap last season, wasn't he? And it didn't quite come to fruition. But definitely a strong performance from them. And in terms of Latvala, obviously we said that he wasn't quite as strong as he would have hoped. But Toyota themselves seemed very happy at the end of the event. The Toyota CEO, or very, very high up person nonetheless, was congratulating Latvala at the end before TANAK came through to his victory. Do you reckon this is going to be something that is good for Latvala in terms of staying at the team for next season?
It should be a boost, yeah, but he's still got to do a bit more in these last 5 rounds. I mean, I guess you could certainly say that they have an outside chance at the manufacturers' championship if all three of their drivers are on top form, and they're going to need Latvala to be on top form to win that championship. So definitely a step in the right direction, but this result, will not be enough on its own. I mean, I guess you have to say, what are the other options for Toyota for next year? Would they be tempted to someone like Chris Meek, Hayden Panner? There's not too kind of many obvious alternatives. So definitely Latvala just needs to carry on the strong form, finish the season on high, and he'll be back next year.
Yeah, and that builds on from Italy, where he was on for a podium, and then obviously had that problem, but out of his control. So that's good that he's managed to pick that podium up this time around. But as you say, he's still got more to do. And in terms of more to do, I think Thierry Neuville this weekend was reminded of how competitive the WRC field is nowadays, because opening the road, leading the championship was a big challenge here in Finland, wasn't it? We expected it to be a tough event for the Met, whatever really, for Hyundai, but he really struggled with that opening the road, and a small mistake on Friday as well kind of put pay to his rally, ending up ninth. The last car really without problems, as Mikkelsen had a big off on Friday and somehow managed to carry on going. But yeah, Neuville last of the bunch really, and he did well in the power stage to pick up 2 points, but a tough event for him, and shows how challenging it's going to be for him to pick up the championship.
Definitely, but I think decent damage limitation for sure there, because Finland is Hyundai's worst event, I would say, especially if you look at 2017. Fortunately, Ogier only got fifth and no power stage points, So that certainly worked in Neville's favour. So I don't think he'd be too disheartened. He should be really strong at all five remaining events. This will be his lowest finish of the season, I'm sure, unless he has any retirements. He's just got to keep it on the road for these last five rallies. The championship is still on. It was a hit in Finland, but it certainly could have been a lot worse had Ogier and M Sport shown a lot more pace.
Yeah, and it was a very disappointing event for M Sports. Obviously, Timo Sundum was only making his second appearance this time last year in Rally Finland, and he was battling for the podium. But this time round, he just didn't quite have that kind of pace, and neither did the other two drivers, with Ogier and Evans also struggling. In the end, they were 5th, 6th, and 7th. And to be honest, Ogier was pretty lucky to get 5th in the end, wasn't he? With a few different sets of team orders across the days.
Yeah, slightly suspicious behaviour from him, but no, completely understandable in the circumstances. Fifth, sixth, and seventh. It's hardly 1, 2, 3, is it? So I don't really have much of a problem with this. It's a team sport. They got themselves into those positions, and it's only sensible to put Ogier in front. So yeah, sensible and correct decision from M Sport, but not a good rally, not good pace in that car on this particular event.
And that actually came despite the new aero package that Ford had, which was quite a sizable change, big rear aero in comparison to the old spec for just Ogier. But he seemed to be lamenting a few problems with that over the course of the weekend, saying that wasn't quite dialed in. Do you reckon that M Sport will stick with that and try and hone it in, or have they not really got the time now with this 21-point deficit with only 5 rallies left? Have they got to go with kind of a spec that they know will be competitive and not have any problems?
Yeah, I mean, I prefer that to the old one. I think they kind of rushed it a little bit, a bit of panic that, Neville had a pretty decent lead. They felt like they had to take some action, throw a load of money at it, but it just wasn't really tested enough. So I would not be surprised if they went back to the old one, although this may have been enough to kind of understand the new one. But the problem is going to Germany next, and that's a very different service to Finland. So it's going to be really, really tough for them, but it might work better there. So they might just have to stick with this new one, to be honest. Now they've thrown kind of so much at it.
Yeah, obviously they got the pre-event test to work that out, but that is going to be something that's just going to be on their mind. And continue on now to Citroën, who had their equal best finish of the season and their best rally in terms of pace, definitely with this one, with Mads Osberg picking up second position and 4 power stage points as well. Challenged TANAK on Friday, but that was pretty artificial with the road position. Once TANAK was in a good position on the road, he flew away into the lead, but Osberg was still able to hold off Jari-Matti Latvala. And Craig Breen also showed good pace, but a few problems on Friday really put him down the order, unfortunately, ending in 8th. But some encouraging signs for Citroën. They too had some pretty major upgrades after this summer break, and those appear to make the car work a lot better here at Finland. And obviously with the tarmac event coming up next, where they're strong, is this a sign of a strong end to the season possibly for Citroën?
We certainly hope so. I mean, they don't really have much to lose today. They're pretty much down in 4th in the championship. Not much hope of improvement. And if they could just finish the season on a high, then that'll be good for them. They'll definitely be focusing a lot on the driving market, to be honest. Osberg and Bream will be doing the best they can, but certainly off the track, they're going to be looking to bring someone in. Not that Osberg did a bad job in second, but you have to feel that possibly someone else in that car could have won the rally. But he got the car home. Really, really solid performance. His best result, I think, since he was last for Citroën. So really, really good job from him. Shame about Breen, but overall, one of the best weekends of the year for Citroën.
And of course, they're still building up for Sebastian Loeb's third event.
Of course, yes.
Which we've kind of agreed was probably their only chance of a victory for the rest of the season. Our perceptions might have been changed by this event, though. Do you reckon they could win one outside of that one?
No. No, I don't think they can. No, I think Finland is very much about a road position. I don't think any of the remaining 5 ones have that much of bearing. Maybe GB, but that's not where I think Citroën would be strong, or those particular drivers.
I'm going to say they've got an outside chance in Germany, but the other ones, no. Yeah, I'm definitely with you on the other ones, but I don't know. We'll see. But I suppose Osberg isn't really very good on the tarmac, so it'd probably be down to Breen in Germany. But I don't know. Maybe,
Who
maybe not.
knows? Who
They were
knows?
second last year. They were
Yeah,
second last year.
we've had some really surprise results this year as well. So we'll see. We'll see.
But yeah, certainly, even if they don't do that, they can take encouragement from this weekend. But still a long way to go, really, for them. But at least some good signs of getting up with the top three now. Back to the Drivers' Championship then. We were saying before the sun break that we were still thinking, or we were still thinking it was on, but Neville was starting to take the upper hand. Are we still thinking that after Finland?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think this only confirms it for me that Neville's going to win this championship.
Yeah. I I don't think it's changed my percent. I think I'm pretty much where I was before in
Yeah.
terms of. I think that Neuville's got a really good chance, but I'm still not counting out Ogier. And
It's just brilliant, though, isn't it? It's
yeah,
brilliant to have this. We just haven't really had this for so many years, and to have this now, we just don't know what's going to happen. Every single rally, they're not just going to be 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, which is great as well. There's going to be so many different cars in between. Really going to depend on their teammates, on Citroen, on Toyota. It's going to be great.
but of course there are still 5 rallies to go, so that's gonna be still quite a long way. We know from last season
Mhm.
that 2 rallies can change everything, can't they?
Yeah.
For Neuville. But now going on to WRC2, which again wasn't a massive change in the championship because neither of our 2 main contenders, Kopecky or Tiedemann, were there in Finland. And Kalle Rovanperä looks set to take his first proper win in WRC2, where there's actually been more than one car. And unfortunately, he then had a suspension failure. And that was a real shame for him, but it meant that Eric Pitarainen was able to take his first WRC2 win on his debut. The leader of the Finnish National Championship taking a win on his WRC2 debut. And he was ahead of Jari Huutonen, who won last year in Finland on his debut. So 2 debutant winners at Rally Finland 2 years in a row. And it just goes to show that there's so much Finnish talent coming through at the moment, isn't there?
Yeah, definitely. He's definitely, I think, a star to watch for the future. It'd be nice to see if he gets a full-time drive next year, just like Huutonen did off the back of his Finland victory. So, yeah, Finland's a really nice event, I think, that can throw out some surprise winners in the junior categories. And, there we go. We've got one there, and Huutonen got second as well. Hyundai's better result of the season. So, yeah, quite good for both of them, I think.
So that was good to see. But next time out in Germany, I think this is going to be the one where both Tiedemann and Kopecky actually compete against each other. So
Yes.
it'll basically be the one that decides the championship. You were pretty sure that Tiedemann was going to win. I said I don't know because it depends about who they come up against. And I'm thinking this is a good chance for Kopecky because it's a tarmac event, which
Yeah.
is where he's fantastic. So it could be I think how this is played out could actually give Kopecky a chance. So
I just hope
yeah,
they all do, I hope they do the 7 rallies each, They've got
yeah.
Kopeck's done in 3 so far. There's 5 events. Is he really going to do 4 out of 5? It might end up doing 3. I mean, you can do 6 obviously, but if you do 7, also you can drop one of the events. So we'll have to see. I mean, he's got a perfect record so far, Kopecky. So he could do 3 more. I just hope that they're going to give him those last few rallies. There's a VW project as well, of course. So I don't know if Tiedemann will be off doing that or if he's going to carry on the Skoda. But yeah, certainly this next round will be a really good one.
Yeah, so that's not confirmed. We still haven't got the entry list for
Yes,
Germany.
true,
There are a
true.
few question marks on that one that we're unsure about. But yeah, I expect those 2 to be with each other in WRC2. So that's going to be the real one that should decide to a certain extent what happens in WRC2. Also, for that, Eric Camely is going to be back in WRC2 after a long absence. He was in Monte Carlo with M Sport. And I'm surprised to see him still at M Sport, I have to say, because he did some testing with that VW project, didn't he? But Malcolm Wilson seems to have said, "Oh, you can still drive for M Sport," which is a bit of a surprise for me.
I mean, I
What
still
do you
really
make of
he was on the pace, wasn't he, in Monaco? I mean,
that?
until it all went wrong, he was kind of up there. So we'll see, we'll see. I've got I hope, yeah. I don't know. We'll see. It'd be good if other drivers can feature as well in this fight, but you really do have to look at Tiedemann and Capecchi, don't you? But if like Rovin Perez there or something, then he could definitely, finally get that. Plenty to watch.
Yep. And what we've seen recently in WRC2 is a nice trend of high turnouts. So it
Yes, and
definitely,
Gus
yeah,
Greensmith finishing on the podium.
yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, plenty of podium contenders. We've had lots of different third place finishes in the last few rallies, so that's good to see in WRC2. Not something that we had a lot last season, but seems to be really growing now, that championship, which is fantastic to see.
even though Citroen haven't won, they still haven't won yet.
No,
Citroen
yeah.
have not put it together, so we got them as well. So you got no excuse not to watch it. So much to keep an eye on there.
Yep. And then finally, just a quick touch on the junior WRC, which is it was its penultimate round in Finland. It's only a 5 round season this time out. Rally Turkey, the new rally, is going to be the final event, which I am pretty sure is double points because they've dropped one rally off, so they've made another one double points. And going into the final round, it is Emil Bergqvist who leads the championship, kind of unsurprisingly, but he's yet to win a rally. He's just been Mr. Consistent, and he's got a good gap on Dennis Radstrom, who had been leading up until then. But do you think that Bergqvist is going to be able to wrap up that championship that we thought he was going to take going into the season?
I think it's going to be really close. It's just going to be a complete free for all, I think, in Turkey because it's a new event, and really you've got to go to win that rally if he wants to win the championship. Radstrom, I think, can probably win the rally. As long as he wins, I think a lot of stages, he could,
Yeah, yeah.
really win that championship. So complete all to play for, mainly between those two, but obviously this double points throws in a couple of other contenders as well. So let's wait and see. Should be a decent fight. Yeah, I'd say it's been a success, hasn't it? And since it's finished over, kind of into M Sports hands, we've got a really good entry list. And basically all the drivers have come back for more. They've, kind of contested all 5 events, which, is the aim.
Yeah, yeah, that is very good to see. Actually, we had a lot of drivers last year, didn't we, doing 1 or 2 events or something like that. And that is actually confirmed that M Sport will continue doing the junior WRC for another season. And
You get an R5 car as well if you win. It's
yes,
a
of
good prize.
course.
I think they've got the prize as well, even for 2019. It's even better now. So, yeah,
Yeah,
big incentive there.
yeah, you get a full WRC2 season for free, basically, tyres and
Yeah.
fuel and everything. So yeah, real incentive there. So basically, the person who's going to win that championship, look out for them in WRC2 the next year. Although it didn't really work out for old Neil Solons
Oh,
this year, did
well, I'm
it?
still holding out for a good result. Well, his home event. He's going to win his home event. There you
But yeah,
go.
yeah, we are still waiting for our junior champion from last year to really turn up in WRC2, but that is something I'm sure will eventually happen. So, yep, Germany is next then, and obviously a big change from Finland. Even though we're going to tarmac, it's definitely a slower event compared to Finland, so we'll be interested to see. And then after that, we're off to Turkey then. So a real mixture of events coming up, and that's going to be a good challenge for the teams, and we'll really get an idea, I imagine, after Germany. With just 4 events left after that, it could be a season-defining round. So we will speak to you after that event, and just before we go, we'll just do a quick prediction for a winner in Germany.
I thought I was going to get away with it.
No, I just thought at the end we better do it.
Yeah, TANAK won last year. Could he win again? I think he could possibly win again. Not bad road position, not that important in Germany. I think Neville and Ogier are both going to be there, so Mikkelson's going to be there. Oh, Lappy's going to. I'm going to go. I'll go TANAK. I'll go my gut. I'll go TANAK for a second win in a row.
I'm obviously, I said Breen earlier might have an outside chance,
Oh,
but I don't. That's my dark horse. That's not my actual
okay.
prediction.
Right.
My actual prediction is Ogier, because he looked fantastic in Corsica, which obviously that's his home round, but it is tarmac, and says Monty, bits of Monty, and he looked really good there on the tarmac. So I'm going to go with him, pick up a third tarmac win of the year. and to really put the pressure on Neville. But as always, apart from last event where we got it right, we've often been wrong with our predictions, so don't read anything into it. And yeah, we will see you after that one. Thank you very much for listening, and goodbye.